The farmers we will meet on these tours come from all across the land that today we know as Canada. But for thousands of years, Indigenous peoples have been taking care of this land. They knew how to make sure the soil was healthy and the environment was taken care of. We rely on the land to grow food for us to eat. It's important that we take care of the land so it can nourish us. That's why we want to learn from the Indigenous people's wisdom and ways of caring for the planet. We want to work together to create a healthy future for this land and for our communities. This is called reconciliation, and it means we want to make things better between different groups of people.
Hello and welcome back to the Great Canadian Farm Tour. Today is our fourth stop on the tour and we are in Saskatchewan where we will be learning all about sheep farming. But before we get to today's tour, I would like to introduce you all to Greg, who is the program coordinator at Agriculture in the Classroom, Saskatchewan, and he's going to teach us a little bit about the province he lives in. Welcome, Greg.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Saskatchewan. I'm excited for you to learn more about sheep farming today. But first, let's learn more about our province. So today we will learn about our province's capital city, provincial bird, provincial flower, and a famous landmark. This is our province's flag. The green represents our northern forests, and the gold represents the southern grain fields. The capital city of Saskatchewan is Regina. It has a population of about 262,000 people. Our provincial bird is the sharp-tailed grouse. This bird sometimes builds tunnels through the snow to sleep at night. The tunnels provide protection from predators and keep the birds warm. The western red lily is our provincial flower. This tall, bright red flower grows in meadows and light forests. A popular landmark in Saskatchewan are the Athabasca sand dunes. These sand dunes are the largest sand surface in Canada.
Awesome. Thanks so much for teaching us a little bit about Saskatchewan, Greg.
You're welcome. Have a great tour, everyone.
And now, let's clap with conviction for our cool, charismatic captain of this cruise of curiosity, the alliterative Colleen Cronican.
Hello, everyone. Hi, Laura.
Hi, have a great tour today.
Thanks. We'll see you at the end. Hi, everyone. So just a reminder that we've had so many great entries into our contest so far. We love seeing your class participating in the Great Canadian Farm Tour. You can enter our contest by posting a photo of your class participating in the farm tours and make sure you use the hashtag GCFT23contest, or you can email in your photos to me. And now I'm very excited to introduce you all to our sheep farmer today, Jared.
Hey, hello everyone. It's nice to join you.
Hi, Jared. Nice to see you. Can't wait to jump in today's tour and learn more about sheep farming. And I just want to remind our participants that we'll get to ask you some questions during the tour today. So if you have any questions, you can write them as a comment on the YouTube channel. So Jared, let's get started. What are you going to teach us about first today?
I want to teach everybody about the sheep on our farm. And we have a video here to get started.
Perfect.
So these are our sheep. The breed is called Border Cheviots. Sheep are both browsers and grazers. They like to eat grass as well as leaves from trees and bushes. In the winter time, when the grass is covered with snow, then we have to feed them hay. Now this is how I haul the hay from the barn to the sheep in the winter. Rather than a tractor, my horses Babe and Duke haul the hay to the sheep on a sleigh. Sheep also require salt and minerals and some vitamins in order to stay healthy. And they get to choose this and take as much as they want when they want. They love to drink from fresh, clean water, but are very happy to eat snow in the winter. During the winter months, I like to feed the sheep in large clearings in the bush, just as the one you're seeing on the video now. This way they can be sheltered from the wind and the blowing snow. They can be comfortable and warm and out of the weather. On our farm, the sheep live outside in nature rather than in a corral or in a barn. Being in nature allows them to eat what they like, when they like, and also they can walk and explore and get lots of healthy exercise. We raise and keep the sheep for several purposes. The biggest reason is to produce food. Many people enjoy eating lamb chops or lamb roast or rack of lamb, but our sheep also grow wool on their bodies, which we can use and sell as well. The wool is removed by a process called shearing. It is very important that the sheep are sheared every year so that their wool coat does not become too heavy. You can see in the video here, I'm using my crook to catch a sheep, and then I'm going to show you how we'd shear. So if you just imagine in my right hand right now, I would have an electric clipper, similar to what the barber would use to shave your head. And with that clipper, as I hold the sheep with my legs and my other arm, I just run that clipper along her skin. The wool will just slide off and there will just be the skin left. So I'm going up her neck there. Now I'm going to twist her and tilt her, and I'm going to do her side. There we go. We'd be shearing the side. The wool would be falling off. Go along her backbone. And then we've got to kind of sit her up and bend her so we have a round surface. And then we can continue to shear the wool off that side. And then we end off with the bottom hip right there. And folks, as quick as I showed that, that's about how quick a person could shear a sheep when you're good at it. Usually about 2 minutes. We use some of our wool to make our own products, which we sell. Here you can see my wife Tasha as she turns wool into yarn using her spinning wheel. Now you'll notice that this wool is blue. Of course, there are no blue sheep. It's been dyed blue. The yarn is then used to knit items like toques or socks, or here's blankets that she made with the wool from our sheep.
Wow, Jared, that's so amazing to see everything that you can make from the wool on your sheep.
Yes, it is neat.
Okay, we have lots of questions coming in here, so I think we have time for a few. How many sheep do you have on the farm?
The number varies from time to the year and such. Right now we have about 60. We've managed as many as up to 800, just depending on what's going on. But right now 60.
Yeah, large variety. Okay, another question. How much wool do you make a year from grade 5 at McDonald?
Oh, wow. So I would say these sheep, they probably produce about 7 pounds of wool every year.
Okay.
About 7 pounds of wool, yeah.
So that's some math that the students can do. If you have 60 sheep right now times 7.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Another question. Do you have a fence around your fields?
Yes, we do. That's a great question. We have a fence around all the land, and that's called a perimeter fence, so that nothing can get away onto the neighbor's crops or fields or gardens or anything. Yes, we have sheep fence.
Okay, yeah, have to keep them in somehow.
That's right. Very important.
Okay, we're going to jump to our first brain break now. So students, get your activity books ready and record the first brain break answer.
Did you know sheep have rectangular pupils? This helps them see almost everything around them without having to move their head.
I never would have guessed that sheep had rectangle pupils, and why is that so important for them, Jared?
Yes, Colleen, it's very important because they're naturally a prey animal. It allows them to see most of their surroundings. So if there is a predator lurking, they can see it even while they're eating or walking. It's a little tougher for a predator to creep up on them.
Okay, sounds like a pretty cool adaptation sheep have made.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. I look forward to looking at the next video. We'll explore it further.
Perfect.
The sheep on our farm, they get to be part of nature, similar to a wild deer. They live amongst wild animals like moose and deer and coyotes. And as I just said, they are naturally prey animals, which means they need to stay safe from predators. But they have some neat features that help them with this. Here, as we look at the sheep's eyes, as we mentioned, they're on the side of the head, so they can see much of their surroundings to spot a predator. A sheep's teeth are made to bite and chew grass and leaves. Their ears are constantly turning, listening to hear their lamb call or the threat of a predator. The sheep's fleece or wool coat is quite dense. This is what keeps the sheep warm in the winter and cool in the summer. And the hooves on a sheep are called cloven hooves because they have two equal parts, as you can see. This helps it to have excellent grip when it walks. The bottom part is soft and is protected by the hoof wall on the side, which is a lot like your fingernail. Now, on our farm, we use livestock guardian dogs. That's those two white lumps laying in the grass there. These dogs have a very important job, and that is to protect the sheep from predators. They love their sheep, and they are bonded to them. Right now here we can see Otto sitting so proud watching his rams eat. There's Luke sitting beside a newborn baby lamb, keeping it safe from a fox. There's Luke again. That lamb is probably 20 minutes old, and he's there to make sure mom and baby are safe. Because of their love, these dogs will follow their sheep everywhere they go to protect them from predators like coyotes. This works very well because coyotes are from the dog family also. So they understand dog language, and they know that they are not welcome near the sheep if those dogs are there. The sheep actually love their dogs, and they trust them to keep them safe. All of our livestock guardian dogs are Great Pyrenees. That's the breed they are. They live and work in teams of 2. And because of this, they become great friends with each other and work partners. And they even take turns sleeping so that there's always a dog watching the sheep. When we look at this line of sheep here, folks, they're walking off to find something tasty to eat. But look what you see at the very back. There's Otto. He's keeping up the back of the line to make sure there's no coyote coming up behind, and they're safe. And as the camera moves to the front of the line of sheep, all the way to the leaders, guess who's right with the leaders? There's Luke. He's making sure that the sheep aren't walking into danger. Now we can see from this valley that there are many great places for predators to hide. So the dogs are extremely important on our sheep farm. Sheep do well in all seasons, even the winter. Not only do they get their food from nature, but they also return nutrients to the soil through their manure. Here's a group of 3-month-old lambs. You'll see that the brown one's a little larger, she's older, but the rest are lambs. And a lamb is any sheep that is less than a year old. A girl sheep that is over a year old is called a ewe, and a boy sheep that is more than a year old is called a ram. Now we get to enjoy some pictures of spring. Here's some newborn baby lambs. Our lambs are born in the pasture, so they get to experience grass and nature from the moment they arrive. And they are terribly cute. There's a mom with her 2 twins. Sometimes they have twins, sometimes they just have one. Now this large buffalo rubbing stone is a reminder of the huge herds of bison that lived here before we did, and that's on our farm here.
Wow, it's so great to see how your sheep are integrated into nature, Jared. And I thought I saw those dogs in the previous clip, so it was really nice to get to know Otto and Luke a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have.
They're very special.
I bet. They seem very proud of their sheep.
Yeah.
All right, we have time for a few questions here. Do the sheep always stay in a group?
You know what? They do like to stay in a group, yes. They will sometimes spread out and wander, but they like to stay close together so that they can stay safe. Yeah, if they're by themselves, they feel like a coyote could catch them pretty easy. But if they're with their friends, they're likely to notice it quicker.
Okay, that makes sense. Why do they have yellow tags on their ears?
That's a great question. Those yellow tags are actually a tag that they have to have on their ear. The government, it's a kind of a government rule, and each tag has a number. And if you scan it with an electronic scanner, the number shows up on your computer, and you know where she was born, how old she is, who owns her, etc. So it's kind of like her ID card. Yeah.
Right, and there's other livestock that have that too, right? Like cows.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, cows is the same thing.
Okay, one more question. Do sheep ever have twins or triplets? From Jordy.
Hey, Jordy. Yes, they will often have twins. They're probably most common to have twins. Some will have just one, and some will have triplets. I was at a farm the other day that had 5. A mother had 5 baby lambs.
Oh, wow.
So she raised 2, and 3 were raised with the bottle. Yeah.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah.
Okay, students, it's time for our second brain break.
Did you know sheep can be picky eaters? They have a split in their upper lip called a philtrum, which helps them carefully choose what they eat.
Okay, so sheep have lots of different features that help them survive in nature, and Jared taught us about some of those different ones as well. And here is today's mystery word. So today's mystery word is healthy. You can write this word down on your passport, which is in your activity book, and make sure you write it down beside the province of Saskatchewan. You'll have to find the province's flag, and you can write the word healthy there. Okay, Jared, we've already learned so much from you, and I'm really excited for this last section.
Yes, me too. We get to show a few new things. Sheep are great at eating weeds. They actually prefer to eat weeds rather than grass often. We can use them as natural weed removers or as weed mowers. I'd like to introduce you to one of my best buddies and my helper on the farm. This is Stu. He is an 8-year-old border collie dog, and his job is actually to work with me and to move sheep where I ask him to move them. So here you can see he's just on top of the hill, and I sent him to go get sheep to me. And as the sheep appear on the side of the hill, you'll notice that behind them is the dog Stu, and he's back there guiding them and kind of hunting them like a predator would, but being nice to them and bringing them right back to me because that's the job I sent him on. And you'll see as he gets them closer that he keeps kind of directing them right there, right back towards me when they wanted to leave. And all of a sudden, we have 16 sheep in front of us. Now, you'll notice as he walks towards the sheep and he gets larger on your screen that he's very confident. He's good at his job, and he's made to do his job. The sheep are a little worried about him, and they move away from him. Why? Because he is a predator, and they are prey. So they know to move away from him. Now, as you see him move back and forth on your screen, he's trying to keep the sheep near me. But you notice he's never being mean or he doesn't harm them in any way. He's just listening to the commands. And you can't hear it on the video, but you'll notice that he's very serious about his job. And even though we can't hear it, he's hearing my commands that I'm giving him. So he knows what I want him to do. because he doesn't know always where we have to move the sheep. So as I give him commands and direct him, he's very, very willing to listen and to take those commands. Now you'll notice that when sheep are a little concerned or worried, as they are right here, about their safety from a predator, they get really close to each other in a sheep pile, and that's called flocking. And we just answered a question about it a moment ago. Now, because Stu is a predator, look at how he stands. He looks like he is hunting the sheep. His tail is down. He never barks because he doesn't want to unsettle the sheep or upset them. He just wants to move them. So he tries to be very, very precise. Now, you might have just seen in that clip those two white dogs that are with these sheep. Those are Sky and Riley. And why are they not upset with Stu working their sheep? Because they're their sheep's friends and they're the guardians. There's one reason. And the reason is because they have been taught that myself as the farmer, I am the leader. And so if I am present, they stand down because they're no longer in charge of the sheep. Now I'm in charge of the sheep. So if I'm in the house or if I'm not there, those guard dogs protect their sheep. But if I show up, they have to let me move them or let my dog work. That's how the whole team works. Now, a well-trained border collie is a very important part of a sheep farm because they allow us to move our sheep anywhere we like, whenever we like. Now, as we watch Stu, I've asked him here with a command to move those sheep back over the hill where we got them from. The sheep don't know that, but he knows. So he's the one making them go there. They have no plan at all. Now, just as you see him kind of adjust and straighten them out, he's going to push them right back over that hill. And once he gets to the top of the hill, I ask him to stop. And you'll see the sheep are at the top, and they're disappearing over the hill, and I stopped them. Then once I asked him to stop, I said, "That'll do." And that's a command which means, "Great job, buddy. I'm proud of you. Come over and let's have a visit." So it means that that job is finished. So you'll see, because I said that'll do to him, you'll see him come running back. Can you see him showing up there? He's down the hill. He's running towards us, and he's very, very pleased at how well he did his job, and he wants to be told how good he is. Once he got here, I let him know that, you know what, we have a little more work to do yet. So I asked him to go and get the sheep again. Now, there's two ways that we can talk to our dog. I have commands for them so that they know what I want. One is with my voice, just like I'm talking to you. We can teach them voice commands so that they listen to those and they understand it. But very often when we're in the pasture, it's very windy, or maybe the dog and sheep are a long ways away and they can't hear me. So then I have to yell. And if I yell, that poor dog might think I'm upset. So I don't ever, ever want to yell at any of my dogs. So if the dog is too far away, I use what we call a whistle. It's kind of like a cell phone for a dog. Just like you might phone your friend to talk to him if he's a long ways away. If I want to talk to my dog a long ways away, instead of yelling, I can just take my whistle and phone him. And so each of the commands that he knows with my voice, he also has a whistle command for that as well. And we're going to show you how that works. I'm going to ask Stu here to go around his sheep counterclockwise. There you see. And the command for that is away to me. So if I said away to me, he would do just what you see. He'd make a big circle around his sheep, counterclockwise direction, and then I'd say lie down, and that would make him stop. Right now, if it was windy and he couldn't hear me, I would use my whistle, and it would sound like this. And that would mean to make that same big circle. And to stop him, so we can talk to him either with the whistle or with our voice, but they mean the same thing. Now you're going to see here, we're going to ask him to go the other direction as well. So the other direction, the voice command for it is called come by. So I would say come by, and he would circle now in that direction. And he circles around until I tell him to stop. So as he's coming around, I might say lie down, and boom, he stops. If I want to go that direction again, I'd say come by. Or if it was windy, I'd use my whistle. And this command sounds like this. And there he goes. And then to stop him, that would stop them. So that's kind of how it works when you're working a dog. You have two ways to communicate with them. You can tell here that as soon as I tell Stu, okay, buddy, now you can move your sheep in that direction, he's thrilled. He loves to walk forward and move them. And that's because he's a predator. It makes him feel really powerful to see things kind of move away from him. You can tell that he loves his job. He listens very, very well to me. Because he's a predator and the sheep are prey, they will always willingly move away. And they're not stressed or upset or anything. They understand it completely. They are not panicked, but they respect his authority. And here I said to him again, once again, I said, good job, come visit me. And with a whistle, it would have sounded like this. And super important when you've done a hard job that you get told you're a good guy and that you're well cared for.
Wow, that's amazing, Jared. I was wondering how Stu would hear you when he was so far away at some points in the video.
Yeah, it is amazing. They try so hard.
Yeah. Can you show us the whistle that you used?
Oh, sure. Sure. So this is it here. I keep it on a string or a lanyard around my neck. And I'll maybe just take it off if I can. And it looks like that. There we go.
Okay.
Yeah. Just has a hole in the center of it. And put it in my mouth and can make whatever sound we need to.
Very interesting. I'm sure it would have taken both you and Stu lots of practice to get good at that.
Yes, it takes a while for sure. Yeah.
Okay, let's answer some questions. How long does it take to train the guardian dogs and the herding dog?
Great question. The guardian dogs have an instinct given to them by nature to bond. So really that training happens when they're wee little polar bears is what they look like. We put them with lambs and they want to fall in love with something. And so if they live with lambs, they fall in love with lambs. And that's their training. Border Collie takes a couple years. Yeah.
Okay. Next question. What happens if a sheep gets sick?
Right. So you saw in that second video, or maybe the first video, I caught a sheep with my crook to show you how to shear. If I see one that's sick, I do that. I use my dog to bring it close. I use my crook to catch it. And then we keep medicine at the place. And so I'll have a syringe of medicine in my pocket because I know what I'm going to be doing. And we give her medicine. Yeah. Usually an injection in the muscle in the neck. Yeah.
Okay. Next question. Does it hurt the sheep when you're shearing them and they're getting all twisted around?
No, it remarkably doesn't hurt them at all. If they're uncomfortable, they kick and they tell you. And if they kick, then you adjust yourself to make them not uncomfortable. It's our job as a shearer to make them very comfortable so they sit still, so that we can do our job easily and that they're not upset at all.
Yeah, and that sheep was sitting pretty still, the one that you had.
Yeah, she was pretty comfortable. You bet.
Okay, one more question. From grade 3-4 at Miller School, do sheep get or feel cold when they are shaved?
You know, they sure can. That's why it's very important not to shear them too early. If you're going to shear them in winter, you need to have a barn that they can stay in until their wool starts to grow back. We shear ours at the end of April, so ours aren't sheared yet. And we wait till it's starting to get warm outside. Just like taking a winter coat off after winter, you want to wait till it's warm before you take it off. Same thing.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, it's time to watch our job spotlight for today. So these job spotlights teach us about lots of different careers in agriculture.
Livestock groomers and technicians groom animals to keep them happy and healthy. They use special tools to trim hooves, shear wool, and clip fur. They spend most of their time in pastures and barns.
Do you have a livestock groomer that comes to your farm, Jared, or do you do it on your own?
You know, my good friend Lori Reed, he comes over and him and I do it together. Yeah. I used to shear sheep as part of my job, so I still remember how to do it. So we do it as friends. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Jared, unfortunately, we've come to the end of our tour, but you've taught us so much today about sheep farming. It was so great to meet you and your sheep and your dogs, and thank you so much for joining us on the Great Canadian Farm Tour.
Hey, you're most welcome. I really enjoyed it.
Thanks, Jared. What a fun tour. I hope you all enjoyed it as much as I did.
I did not know that dogs were so important on sheep farms and also so adorable on sheep farms.
I know, me either. It was so fun to meet Jared's dogs virtually.
For our next stop on the Great Canadian Farm Tour, we will be staying in the prairies and we're going to be heading to a chicken farm in Manitoba.
I can't wait to bring you all along on that tour.
Me too. See you all in Manitoba.